Hi, this is Felicia, and I'm one of the instructors for the Documentary Approach workshop. And I'm here together with Lauren Mitchell and Jessica Thomason, who will be showing you their own tutorials about editing with different kinds of lighting situations. I'm going to be covering something a little bit more challenging in terms of lighting. In terms of shooting in a documentary environment, we often don't direct or place our subjects in ideal lighting, so we really need to be able to work with anything that we're given. And sometimes that could present challenges in the way that, for portraits, you're more driven to create skin tones that are really creamy and balanced, and with a documentary environment, sometimes you get really, harsh light or hard light, and mixed lighting. And this example that I'm showing you right now is about mixed lighting. So this is an image that I took. This is a mom that's spending the morning with her kids, waiting for her husband, who's working shift work, to come back from working working a night shift and being on call. So she is single parenting this morning with 4 kids, 2 of which are older, and then 2 little babies that are twin boys. And as you can see, she's trying to have breakfast while parenting one child, not hurting or not dropping the stool on one of the babies that are sitting or lying on the ground here. So in this picture, you can see that there's multiple areas where there's different temperatures of light. To the right hand of the frame, there's a big window that is off just to the outside of the frame, and you can see that there's some cooler light coming in and hitting her skin. There's also a temperature of light coming in from the kitchen, and it's a bit warmer, and then there's the light that's coming in from above in this room and the light that's coming in from the hallway that goes down to the bedroom. So 4 different temperatures of light. What do we do in this situation? So I'm just gonna do some edits to show you what I typically do with my photos, and then we can talk about how to treat the different temperatures of light. As with any color photo, I use a preset. I actually use a Maston base, and then I kind of tweak it to something that is more applicable to most of my color photos. So I have saved it as a Maston here. So I had a average outdoor white balance or temperature to start with. So obviously this is indoors and 4 different temperatures, so it doesn't really apply. So I usually go in with a dropper and find a neutral surface. In this case is white casing on the door, and it's come up really cool here. So what I'm going to do is tweak it by hand and to see something that's a bit more true to life. I think this is a bit better here, and it's still a bit yellow, so I think I'm going to pull up the magentas to help with that. Overall, it's a little bit underexposed because I wanted to retain, I didn't want to blow out any of the details that are a bit lighter, so I'm going to pull up the exposure just a touch, probably a couple stops, right about here. I think it's good. And also with this, I like to pull down the highlights, pull up the shadows a little bit. The contrast is okay. I might pull it down just a touch. The blacks are okay too. And then as I go down, I don't usually do anything with the hue, the HSL panel. The hue looks good. The saturation's fine. Maybe the orange saturation should just 0 that. Saturation on the reds as well. The luminance, I usually have the orange a little bit, just a touch higher, and the red luminance down a little. Let's see, maybe in this case we can pull it up just a little bit. And I generally like the way the other colors fall for this particular setting. and I don't really do much to the other parts of the develop panel. So I'm going to go back. I'm going to do some local dodging of the little boy here because he's a little bit in the shadow. I still want to see his expression. It's fairly dark and I was pushing my ISO and my shutter is a bit slower than I'd like, but it's still possible. And I was also trying to use a higher aperture so that I can get all of the people in play in enough of focus so that they're not blobby, especially the ones in the front layer, like this baby. If I had an aperture that was a bit wider, you might not be able to make out that there's a kid on the floor. So yeah, with this, I'm gonna pull up. I'm still dodging the boy's face in. I'm gonna pull up the shadows just a little bit. And you're starting to see a bit of a halo here, so I'm just gonna do a broad stroke brush through, so it's not as obvious. And right now, it's still a bit blue on the mom, so I think what I'm gonna do is brush locally on her a little dodge and a little bit of warmth on her skin as well. And right there, let's take it back a little bit on the dodge so that it's not so haloed. I think we're good here. I'd even put a little bit more. And then I think I'm pretty happy with the way she is, just because it's going to be naturally a bit warmer on her arm here than it will be on her arm on this side that's closer to the window with natural light. And I might take the yellow down a bit on her that's sitting in the hallway. I'm going to take down, maybe add a little bit of pink. That's better. So obviously you're not going to get creamy skin tones when there's artificial light in your environment, especially when there's so many different temperatures of artificial light with natural window light that's off to the side of the frame. So all we can really do is locally treat it as best as we can. And a lot of this is going to be environmental in color, so we need to honor that this is the way they really look like in real life, and we can't make it look too different than what we see with our own eyes. So in terms of anything else that I would change, probably not. I'm just going to show you really quickly what the before and after is on this. So here's the before, and this is the after, and I think I'm pretty happy with the way it is. So that's all there is for editing in mixed light.